Hello and welcome back to PMP with Prachi, the podcast dedicated to helping you master project management and transition from manager to a project leader. Today, we have an incredible episode that will fundamentally change how you view your role. We are diving deep into the mindset shift needed to lead at the highest level. Our guest is Aurelien Mangano, an executive leaders coach, the creator of Leadership Maturity Matrix, and the VP of programs for PMI Houston. Aurelien specializes in coaching executives and VPs at different organizations from startup to FANG companies, showing them how to influence people instead of just controlling the tasks. We are going to discuss how a PMP certified professional can apply executive coaching skills to program governance, make a strategic decision, and successfully lead digital transformation initiative projects. Get ready to unlock your true project leadership potential, and let's jump right into it. Aurelien, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hosting me. Happy New Year
Yeah, of
also.
course. Thank you for joining in, Aurelien. So let's begin with the background and your experience. I know you started as a developer in your early days and you moved to project management, and now you're coaching executives at different organizations. So how is your experience and what's your journey?
So you tell a lot of things already. So I started as a software engineer, and to be truthful, I never liked too much the technical. So it was something that was temporary. I always wanted to be in the managerial or leadership position. And very quickly, I told to my manager that I wanted to be more managing than doing technical work. But when you are a new hire, you need to do the technical work. So I was a software engineer. I stayed for about 5-7 years in this role, but I had the opportunity, thanks to my manager, to have some overview of team that were working to help us, the contractors, and I was helping them to prioritize the different opportunity. And it was really something that I love to do. Then after I moved to the project management role, but what I realized is I never had a real training from how to do project management, how to lead and do this. And this is the reason I started to my journey in PMI and acquiring the PMP to really have the basis of what is project management and how to do it. I will be truthful, the PMP was awful because a lot of learning, a lot of things to learn, but it was something that helped me a lot in building the basis for project management. And after I moved to coaching, as you tell me, but we will explore this probably in the next few questions.
Okay, absolutely. In your early days only, you got to know that development is not my thing and I want to move to a managerial or more of a leadership role. And that's good. That's great, actually, that your manager guided you and helped you move in that direction. So you already had a mentor or a coach in that terms in
Yes,
your
I
early
had a
career.
mentor,
So that's
somebody,
really
yes.
good. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
more a mentor because I make a difference between mentoring and coaching. Mentoring is more giving you the answer. Coaching is helping you to find your own answer. And it was not yet the time for me to find my own answer when I started. But yes,
Yeah.
it was
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Okay, so that was my next question. So, what's the difference between the mentor and a coach? So, you already answered that question. So, mentors, you mentioned mentors ask you questions, or coaches ask you question and they navigate you.
So mentor will ask you also question, but mentors will be somebody that already did what you would love to do and give you advice on their experience on how they did it for you to repeat it. A coach may or may not have the experience that is needed, but he will help you by his question to find your own answer. And it's something that usually people at the beginning of their career like to be guided because they don't know yet what they want to do. And more you grow, more you go to find your own answer and find your own path to go where you want to go. And leaders have this need to be more on the side of the coaching than on the side of the mentoring. Mentoring is more for manager, but we will speak about this more in details and what that means and how it works, because I make a clear definition that a manager cannot be a leader and a leader cannot be cannot be a manager, because the manager have a lot of control, and as soon as you have control, you lose the influence and the inspiration that is needed for the leader. But it is something
Yeah.
that is not so easy to capture, and more you grow, it's really a mindset growth that is needed to pass from one to the other stage.
Yep, absolutely. So you mentioned about coaches should not necessarily know about the topic, right? So I think even as a project manager, you need to know everything. You could be a coach rather than a mentor. I think you are more of a coach to your team members. You coach them how to move forward with the project and what's the goal to meet the goal. How do you meet the goal? So, what is the most effective coaching technique a project manager can use that goes beyond telling the person what to do to actually empower them to find the solution?
And it's actually exactly this, what you tell. The manager, if he wants to empower his team, is to not come with a solution, because most of the time we have tendency to have all this experience of technical. We know how to control the golden triangle of the time, budget, and scope, and we want to give all this answer because we know that we are able to do it. And sometimes the answer that the technical people, the new hire, are better than what we have as experience. So we need to refrain from finding a solution. And when somebody comes with a problem, start with, what would you do if I was not here? What will be the solution that you will think about? Try to navigate with him the solution. Perhaps he don't have the solution and you will need to give him a solution that will be the mentoring, but trying to navigate and make sure that you don't give always the answer directly, and try to empower them to think on their own and try to make sure that you give the answer only if they don't know what it is. And it's part of the journey from the manager controlling to going to the leader, where you detach yourself from the solution and give them more power on their technical skill.
Uh, I know quite a few people who are aspiring project managers, and they get intimidated by the idea that, I'll go pass my exam and go to the real world and then lead the technical projects which you don't have experience in. So they are actually threatened or intimidated by the developers because they have no experience in that domain and they are going to lead them, right? So, yes, you're right that it's not necessary that they should know the answer for each of the coding issues, but they should know how to coach or navigate or how the person can meet the goal.
Yeah, as a technical manager, your role is really to make sure that the project is delivered on time, on budget, and on scope. What will be the challenge of a new project manager will be, if he don't have the background that is needed technically, will be to make the estimation of how much time it will take, or what will be the effort required on when to deliver this project. For me, it's not so difficult if you have a team that is really supporting you. The most difficult, and it is something that we don't think when we take this role of project manager, is really the stakeholder management, really this communication with your business, because they have requirements, and because you don't have always this background, they may feel frustrated that you are not communicating quickly or reassessing quicker, and making sure that you ensure this stakeholder engagement from the beginning. And it is probably the element that I will advise really project manager to focus on, because it was really where I failed the most when I started to be my project management. because I was too focused on
Yes.
the project and not enough on the people.
Yep. It is actually difficult for people to manage projects who are actually from the technical background. It's the other way around. These people who doesn't have technical background, they shouldn't be intimidated. In fact, it's a bliss in disguise
Yeah.
that you don't know technical stuff. And that's why your team is there for, right? And they are going to guide you in how many days these tasks are going to be completed. And that's what Agile teaches us, that it's not about the Scrum Master or a project manager, but it's about the team. Team tells you in how many days these tasks can be completed. So they get to decide. It's just you are the person who are helping them orchestrate all the tasks together and meet the deliverables. And yes, communication, of course, is the key as a project manager. It's just all about communication, communication, and communication. So, yes, absolutely. So, that being said, you meet a lot of project managers with PMP certifications and portfolio program manager level certifications. So, where do you see the biggest gap in the leadership knowledge and skill for these professionals?
It's a very complex question. And if I have to tell you where is the biggest gap, most of the time is really communication, as we tell, because communication is what will solve everything. Somebody that know nothing and communicate very well will be more successful than somebody that know everything and cannot communicate, because communication will make the reassurance of your stakeholder. It will make sure, because let's be realistic, no project are delivered on time, no project are delivered on budget, and rarely on scope, because the scope are always moving. The stakeholder never know what they really want. So it is really this communication that help to reassess what is a priority, reassess and make sure that the person is reassured that you will deliver what they need. So communication is really a gap that people don't realize how important it is. And there is multiple type of communication that need to be developed. There is the public speaking, but it's usually more for senior project management. But even when you start to be a project manager, you need to have this communication either by Teams or, either DM or communication by email. And if you don't know how to communicate correctly and how also to ensure your impulse control, because I receive a lot of message when I was a project manager that I was very impulse. I wanted to give the answer directly to my stakeholder or to my different technical team without having all the information. And it was confusing everybody when I replied too quickly. So learning how to control your impulse, learning how to communicate better in different way, learning how to adjust to the different population, because your technical team will not have the same expectation from you than your manager. Your manager will be more on the strategic, what will come, what are the deadline, when the technical team will expect a little more of technical area, more details, understanding what is the purpose. And it is one element also that I feel we have a big gap in our current situation in general in organization. We are working on project. We know what we are delivering, but we don't understand the why of this project or how it fits the big picture. And sometimes missing this information make it really difficult for both the project manager and the technical team to deliver really the value that is expected.
Yes, if you don't have a vision from especially top down, like at times there are companies, organizations where leadership does not have any vision where we are going with this product or project. And then the team members have to suffer because of the poor decision or, poor communication at times. So it is very important for top managers to communicate also to bottoms down, to communicate the vision properly. So have you seen or experienced any of these situations where these leaders have failed to communicate the vision properly, and that is from the executive level, that caused a brilliant strategy to completely fail when it hits the project teams. At times, you know what, team members are laid off because of bad decision or vision communication. So, yeah, tell me about your experience.
So if I have to tell about my experience, I will think directly about the time I was director of automation in a big company. We were working with multiple projects that were million revenue. We were, really optimizing all the processes, making things better. And in the same time, when I was asking to my developer what was the reason we were doing this, they were really focused on the technical stuff, what they were doing, which different brick were working, but they were not understanding why we were doing this and how important it is. And it was even more frustrating when we had competitive projects that were working against us in the same company. We had a part of it that were business process management that was orchestrating all the tasks, and we had also a Power Automate project that were on the side. And now most of the things are absorbed by Power Automate because it's grow and it become more strong than it was before. But this confusion between the two solutions that were not very clear on when to use which one was creating a confusion in both teams, in the business, because the business didn't understand which solution was best for them. And it was also setting up my project to decommission because people were realizing that we were working on two different projects. And I work on redefining what was really the vision, what was the reason we had this project. And I explained to the executive what was the benefit of these solutions that were more strong at this time in the different technology, better in the integration with the ERP and other systems. And it helped to grow the project. And in 1 year, we were able to double the pipeline. And year after year, we double for 3 years the number of projects. And it was something that I'm proud of, but in the same time, it makes me realize that we are so often confused and focused on just on the project and not on the project success. And it is the element that PMI is addressing recently, the migration from the project management success, that was really the triangle success, to really the project success, how it fits the big picture and how you bring value. And I am writing actually a book that hopefully I will launch by June. I don't know yet when it will come, but it's really speaking about this element into many other elements of the project management migration to leadership. But yeah, it is a very good book incoming.
Oh, wow. I would love to read that. I know you have written other books as well. So I will be sharing the details of the books in the description below. So don't forget to check out the books which Aurelien has already authored or co authored, and the book which he is going to publish in June.
Thank you very
And
much.
Aurelien, as you said, yes, of course. And as you mentioned, that at times from top leadership, the vision and communication is not appropriate or correct as needed. But sometimes even a developer brings out a great idea, or, they navigate the project at times. And they are not actually a project manager or a manager or a leader with a title, but I think everybody is a leader, right? Even it's just the title. Leadership is just a title. Anybody can be a leader, right? So, what are some key qualities or attributes that leaders should focus on developing on to lay a strong foundation for their leadership journey? And how can an emerging leaders establish their executive presence early on in their career, even when they might not hold senior level roles in the organization, just like you did, right? In the first organization, when you pivoted from developer to a project manager, you need somebody to give you that platform. Tell us how can people who are emerging leaders who are not into the leadership role, but they are trying to establish their executive presence early on?
So what I will start with is not everybody is designed to be a manager or a leader. There is people that really love to be in the technical. So first at all, you should not promote people on their technical skill to go to management. They can be very bad technically, but very good at management. And it is where people really need to understand what are the skills of the management. And it is a great question, Prashi, because the skill of technical are the ones that you will do operation. But when you do leadership and management, you need to be good at project management, orchestrating, coordination. It is one of the elements that is very important, being able to communicate with others and make sure that you coordinate the task correctly. It is one of the skills to have a self-awareness about yourself. So if you tell me what I will start with when I want to move from technical to project management, I will tell, make a self-introspection. Look at what you love, what you are good at, what you would like to develop, and look on how to develop this skill, and tell your manager, I would like to develop this skill, conflict management. It can be working on emotional intelligence. It can be working on your communication, on your mindset, because when you start to be more in the project management, you have a lot of stress, a lot of elements that are unexpected, and you need to become very resilient, very determined, very focused on the work. You need to take any obstacle as just an obstacle and see how you can bypass or make a workaround, because you have a vision that you will have to bring, and it will come probably in your early to late days of project management. I will tell the vision is probably more on the leader side, but when you have a vision, you need to believe in this vision and make it happen. Even everything is against you, you need to make everything because you believe in this vision. And it is why it is so difficult to pass from the management to the leadership, because this vision becomes so strong and you have to let go all the control of making sure that you are on time, on scope, and on budget. After, when you go to the management role, one thing that need to be very good is to understand how to estimate and how to communicate with your technical team, how to find quickly a solution and connect with the right people around you. So build a team around you that have all the knowledge that you don't have, so you can make quick decisions. A lot of elements that are moving into it, but if you really start with it, estimation, communication, and self-introspection, I will tell. Then after, you will develop the other skills that are needed.
Okay. So, on a high level, what I'm hearing is emotional intelligence and soft skills are very important. So, what is one simple emotional practice you coach your C suite executive clients on that a project manager can adapt daily to immediately improve their stakeholders or even team interactions for that matter? Emotional intelligence or soft skills, any of those. What do you?
Yeah. So if I have to speak about emotional intelligence, I had recently a very good project manager that is very analytical and technical. So he's very good at his job. He do everything. He deliver everything on time. But he tell me that he has a lot of trouble to really connect with people and motivate them. And the reason is because he don't have the archetype of a person that will connect with people. He know what need to be done. He is very operational, very good at this. But connecting with people, understanding what they want, what motivates them, and all this is very difficult for him. So we work really on listening the other, faking a little the empathy, connecting, because it make the other feel that they are heard. And one element that I will tell you is, if you have to develop your soft skill, don't start to speak, but start to listen more, because it will help you to understand better what the other expect and ask more questions. We have tendency to be scared of asking questions, but more you ask questions, more you understand what is the purpose of doing it, why. You will start to connect better with the person, because really asking this question will help you to gain more knowledge about yourself and about what is expecting from you.
Yes, and not just listening, but active listening. You are just not listening, but understanding, processing at the same time. So, yes, absolutely, that is important. Active listening is a very important soft skill for a project manager. So, as we conclude for our next generation leaders aspiring to becoming mid-level leaders, what is the final piece of advice or actionable step would you recommend to help them achieve their goals?
I will tell connect with me, but it is an easy way. I will tell, if they really have to develop their skill to be better project manager, better leaders, is connect with the purpose, understand the why you are doing this, and if you don't know it, ask about it. Why I'm doing this? Sometimes you will have people that will want to share it, and they will be very rewarding that you ask this question. Some people will not be happy that you ask it, but if they don't have the answer, that means it is something that need to be clarified, because you may work on the wrong direction on a project that is not aligned with the organization and they don't know about it. And by asking why, you will help them to redefine the right direction, and your project may be canceled, but it's not so bad, because you are working for an organization and you are here to bring value. If you are working just toward a direction that is the wrong one, what is the purpose of doing this project? The best advice that I will have to give to these people.
Okay, perfect. So, with that, I would like to wrap it up. And that was an absolute masterclass in project leadership. Thank you, Aurelien, for sharing such an
Okay.
invaluable wisdom on how project managers can transition to true leaders. The key takeaway for me is personally active listening. I should start do active listening rather than just listening to people. So that's the takeaway from for me personally. And I will drop your details, LinkedIn profile, and other details in the description below. So check out the information in the description for Aurelien. If you like to reach out to him, feel free to reach out to him on LinkedIn. And for all our listeners watching, if you found this conversation helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more PMP content. And let us know in the comment section what is one action you are taking today to shift from manager to a leader. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you. Thank you, Aurelien.